What's going on there, my favorite people? Ricky Burrows here. I hope you had a very Merry Christmas, and I want to wish you an incredible New Year. I want to encourage you that if you're going through yet another Christmas where it isn't the greatest, it isn't perfect, it's the same as last year, it's the same stressful problems, it's the same bad relationships, it's not changing. And you hear people say, well, the best is yet to come, and you're like, yeah, right, when is it ever going to get better? I'm making this video to help you to know that it actually can get better. Your situation just needs to go in a new direction. This is the 5th Christmas that I have not shared with my father. Back in 2013, my father passed away from brain cancer. It was the kind of cancer that just developed long over time and then suddenly took him out. It made a huge, devastating ripple effect throughout our family. My dad made a tremendous impact on his community, his church, the people he worked with, and to this day we still talk about him. As I mentioned in previous videos, I was married at one point, and it really had there was so much tremendous stress in the relationship that no matter what I did, it was not getting better. And in fact, each and every year, it just kept getting worse and getting worse and getting worse. My body's stress was increasing. My mind could not find a peaceful place to rest. And no matter how often I read my Bible and I went to church and I spent time in praise and worshiping God, I would listen to worship music, there was this chronic anger in me. There's this power over me that I could not overcome, and I really narrowed it down to I'm in the wrong relationship, and I knew from the beginning I shouldn't have started it. And so I made a decision. I decided to get away from it. And I've been saying this a lot. When you're in a relationship that you really should not be in, you have to make the hard decision and remove yourself from that person. By taking massive action and walking away from somebody I genuinely cared for, it has a psychological, spiritual, emotional effect on you. You don't want to see this person get hurt. You don't want to see this person live in poverty. You don't want to see them live in this way of life. But at the same time, it's draining absolutely everything out of you. And there was definitely just that emotional price to pay, and I paid for it. But I'll tell you, one of the best decisions that I ever made was getting around righteous people and getting back into a righteous church and surrendering to God. It's just allowing myself, hey, I have been doing things my way for 13 years, whatever it was. And I just decided to let it all go and let God have His way and do a work in me. And that's when I started to really surrender my problems. And I didn't look for instant gratification. I looked for guidance. I looked for what is the solution to the problem. And it really came down to worshiping God. It really came down to singing the songs, obeying the call to worship. And so that's what I did. So if you're going through this season of chronic stress and anger and hatred, and you're just going through things you really just don't want, you're in a state of mind that you just don't want to be in, learn from me and learn from what I'm doing that's actually giving me a very tangible peace. I wake up, I spend time with God, I allow Him to really make me happy. Then you say, well, how in the world is that possible? You gotta really focus on getting yourself into my Bible somewhere in the house right now, but it's not in front of me. But you have to really get yourself in front of a Bible and just start reading it and know the promises of God, that He really deeply cares for you. But one of the biggest things is that your environment is going to control whether or not you draw closer to God or whether you draw further away from Him. Your environment has tremendous influence and it has control. That's why you have to put yourself in an environment that's going to influence you towards a peaceful life. Now, I know that you just don't have that right now for some of you, like, you just can't quite imagine, you can't quite grasp it. It's like people when they're just trying to make a second income, they're working really, really hard on a business and it's just not working. I don't see any results or whatever, and you have to just learn the basics, and you have to get back to what actually works. So learn from me, learn from what I did to really get this incredible peace and happiness and joy that is just filling me up, and it's overflowing onto the people. I had a guy the other day, he was telling me, he's like, Richard, you just so, now they call me Richard at work because that's just the name I prefer to be called when I'm doing something professional, when I'm fixing things. So he came up to me and he's like, Richard, you're just so happy. And it's not because I'm in this place, it's not because I'm fixing things. You know, I do like doing those things. I like fixing things. I like doing that a lot. But what he was telling me is like, there's something about you that's actually making me curious, like, what's the source of your happiness? And I simply told him it's Jesus Christ. It is the peace of God that is literally living inside of me and filling me up, and that you're seeing the end result. And he's like, well, how do I get that? He's like, well, how do I get that? You know, and I was telling him how you have to repent of your sin, and you have to clearly invite God into your life and into your world. You have to get back into a Bible believing church. You have to get right with God, and you absolutely have to get out of the environment that's controlling every decision that you make. One of those environments could actually be social media in itself. If you're going on there and you're seeing all this drama and you're seeing all of this like super ultra negative people, and they're just putting stuff out there that's making you feel like it's a drain on your life, whatever it may be. You have to figure out the source of your stress, where it's coming from, and you just gotta cut that off. That is where I knew exactly what I had to do. So this is, in my opinion, the fastest way to release that anger, to have a shield of faith that actually works, where you pray to a God that actually solved your problems. And this is what I mean. You need to get around an environment that loves Jesus Christ and shows you that He is the way, He is the truth, and He is the life. So with that being said, I hope that this video encourages you to take what I say, pray about your situation, and ask God to lead you. Ask Him to put people into your life that is going to draw you closer to Him. You don't want to be around people who are just going to draw you away from God. And the fastest way to find those people is to simply go to a Bible-believing church. So with that being said, I really appreciate you, because you're a part of this journey. You're a part of the process of helping other people, of finding a reality that's similar to theirs. I hope it encourages you and that you watch more videos. So hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell notification, so whenever I put out content, you'll be able to watch it, you'll be notified. Some of the books that have inspired me the most are in the description below. If you go ahead and you click on those links, buy them now. You'll be able to get your hands on them. Just start reading them today. Thanks for watching this video. Bye for now.